Good afternoon, Chris. Thank you very much for your valuable time this afternoon to help me with this school assignment. So I'm in an entrepreneurial class and we have to come up with a project to fulfill a need that would possibly be in the community and put down a concept. And now we have to bounce it off by real consumers and see how we may have to adjust it so that it actually would fulfill the need. So let me share with you what I found. The concept is that Dallas Total Recycling provides a drop-off location for various recycling goods. The site are operated and maintained by individuals that currently live at the margin. Dallas Total Recycling sells the recycled goods to producers and manufacturers that then repurpose those goods. This will help the DFW community on several levels. First, it will reduce the amount of trash that lands in landfills. Second, it reduces the new resources used to manufacture goods. And lastly, it helps to give individuals living at the margin the re-entry to society by giving them a value and purpose. So that's the concept that I came up with. So I thought, who would be the possible user consumer, so to speak, for this project? I thought in general, DFW residents, especially those who are eco-conscientious individuals and individuals that want to support a good cause. Those are the ones, because most people do have like general recycling service like we have here in the complex. But there's a long list of things that they don't recycle and end up as well at this in the trash, or some people are just not diligent enough, and maybe with a project like that they're like, oh, this sounds like a good project, and maybe instead of having it recycled that way, bring it to this site and help a good cause at the same time. So what do you feel, did I hit the right spot with who this would address, who would be interested in that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think definitely on the eco-conscious side, I think that's something that's becoming increasingly more aware kind of throughout the community. The marginal side, absolutely, yeah, I think that would make sense. Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of the target markets, I think it would, I think I feel like, and this is just a feeling, I have no reason to support this other than I feel like the people who would be very interested in some sort of recycling service, I feel like there would be a lot of crossover between someone who would also want to do it in a way that had additional benefits beyond just the recycling. So I think that makes sense, that there would be a lot of overlap between those markets.
Mm-hmm. So would you use a service like that? Like, okay, if I can do that, I would accept driving 10 minutes to drop stuff off because it has that purpose, or it does serve an additional level in the community.
I think I would. You know, before we had the curbside recycling here, I was driving it to just an elementary school that isn't that far. So I think if people are motivated to do it, we'll find a way to do it. I think the challenge would be learning about it, first of all, and then making sure that you had enough locations that, to your point, I don't have to drive to, you know, downtown Dallas to find the one drop-off spot. I feel like as long as it's convenient enough that I can get there kind of within my average errand, like if it was next to Kroger, and I was like, okay, every Sunday, that's just part of my week. You know, that's really easy versus if it's somewhere that I maybe a part of town I maybe go to once a month, you know. I think I would certainly use it. I think I would certainly use it assuming that it's not I would use it assuming that it was something that I could probably fit into kind of what I'm already doing with my.
So if it would be on the way to work or on the way going, running.
Exactly. exactly.
So if you wouldn't have to go way out of the way.
I think I would certainly want to use it. I think the only deterrent I could think of would be the proximity and just time investment.
The one thing which was the second step that I was thinking of is partner with retail stores, grocery stores, a little more local one versus then like large national chains. What I have seen in Switzerland, they do offer, like they have a certain area in the store where you can throw in all your recycled goods.
Oh, sure, yeah.
As well, something that a company then can say, hey, this is our contribution to being more eco-friendly. And as a provider, we would come and collect all those goods. They would just give us the space for it, and then we would come and maintain it at the same time. So they wouldn't have additional things to do for themselves, but it would give them more value that they can present to their customers at the same time as well.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot more sense. That makes a lot more sense to me. I didn't think of it that way. I assumed kind of the sorting and the recycling would be at the same location, but having locations that are dedicated just to drop off and pick up, then I think you're right. I think you could get a lot more buy-in from areas where they would be willing to put that out there. And I would think even some of these apartments and stuff would maybe be interested in doing something like that. So yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah. So then when it comes to wood, if it would be a regular business, you would explain now what is your product that you're giving away, what is the service. In this particular case, so it would be the stuff that we would take. Down besides of the regular goods, and that's why I put it still down, even though most areas do offer now recycling as well as we do here. I still would offer like newspaper magazines, but as well for books, and that is not usually something that is thought of. Books that people don't want anymore, that maybe even in bad condition, they can still recycle. Glass and aluminum, batteries is a really big thing, because I haven't seen a recycling place really where I have to go or where I can give my batteries to recycle. Electronics in whatever variety they're coming. Wood, thinking of a piece of furniture that is not reusable that you can give to the Salvation Army, Out of the Closet, or whatever organization resale does. That they will not accept because it's simply not reusable, but it would be still repurposable because you can use wood again and things like that. Would there is something else that just comes on top of your mind that could be added to that list, or something that you think, doesn't make sense on the stuff that I just.
No, I mean, it sounds like it'd be a pretty like heavy industrial recycling building at that point. I mean, the first thing I thought of when you said batteries is, I know there's a lot of household chemicals. Like I know the city of Dallas and like where I grew up, there was like household chemical recycling day where it would properly dispose of some of the common items, like paint is the one that always comes to my mind. Like if you have a semi dried up paint bucket, there's a way you're supposed to dispose of it where it doesn't harm. And then potential use for, the can. And that's something that is a little more different from the recycling, I guess, but it kind of falls in line with the responsible disposal sort of trend. And if you're going to do something like batteries, if you had the opportunity to do more of a chemical element, it'd be really convenient, because that's one too that I think people you just hold on to stuff forever because you don't know what to do with it.
Yeah. Completely agree. Or it's dried out and you're like, okay, can I still now put it in the trash? Or
If it's a solid brick, can I throw it away? Yeah, exactly.
It may still be recyclable or be properly disposed.
Yeah.
Protect the environment.
But I think the biggest one the biggest one I can think of is glass, because I know a ton of people don't take glass. Or you have to, I know my parents, for example, pay an extra fee for this curbside recycling to pick up glass. And you have to have a glass bin and a recycling bin and things like that. I think glass one would be really big.
Okay.
Maybe had.
Yeah, I really like that. In Switzerland, they literally have different containers and people sorted. Actually, there's a container for brown glass, for
Yeah.
glass, and the clear glass, and they actually have to put it in the right container themselves.
Yeah.
They're like, it's such a normal thing to do there.
Yeah.
That would be more a part here, and I guess that's kind of the thing that I'm trying to raise awareness and bring something that to make it a normal for us here
Yeah.
too.
For sure. Yeah.
So the last part is then why I'm thinking this is a need. I feel we have to be more responsible for our environment, because we love living where we live, and if we don't take care of our environment, it freeze to death.
Very true.
True, it happens, really, believe
me. Yeah.
Or you have heat waves, or it becomes an unlivable area. Or you want to have in your backyard a big trash pile that smells up the area that you're like, okay, I don't want to live here anymore. So that's one reason why. Plus, the other part is I feel really strong about that. There is a lot of opportunities, if they're given in the right environment and setting, that people that live on the margin, if purpose and you give them something to work on and work with a certain structure, they re-enter society, and that can be a gate for them to change their life around. Not just provide a new work opportunity for just anybody, but gear it specifically to help people re-enter society.
Yeah. I think that makes sense. I mean, I think the responsible hiring practices would be the reason that it would make me think to use that service over another service. Absolutely.
So those are basically the three things that I wanted to talk with you over, to figure out and kind of make adjustments to the project that I basically wrote out, and then now I can adjust it as I make all those interviews to come up with a better product or a better idea for this product. So thank you very much for your time. I greatly appreciate it. That you took your time, and then I'll stop the recording now.